Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. This new moon in Cancer is exactly opposite Pluto. So whatever emotions become stirred up by the moment we're going through will be intensified. And because Pluto's in Capricorn, as usual, it's circumstances that tend to trigger the emotions. Actual physical setups. There's an emphasis on physical setups in the chart with the Venus. Huge triangle there, a grand trine in Earth. Venus being in Virgo is really trying to make it all work better, more smoothly, so that we all have a better experience, even though this can sometimes look like criticism. She's connecting beautifully with Saturn and Uranus, only a degree out of exactness in both directions, so it's a strong connection. Saturn and Uranus are in connection with each other ever since Uranus went into Taurus in May, and as Saturn is retrograding back towards the trine, it remains a very strong connection until Uranus backs into Aries again in November. So May to November we have this connection between the status quo and needing to make a difference, an extremely supportive connection as changes need to be made, suggesting that changes that we do allow to be made will be workable and we'll be able to move into the future with them. Because we know Uranus will be going back into Aries between November and March of 19, we do know that there is likely to be a bit of going back to sort things out before we can go forward properly, but by then Saturn will be much further through his own sign. So this particular connection is especially the case for these next few months. And at this new moon, Venus has joined in with them, as though we can make these changes together, we can work in harmony with other people for the benefit of all of us. With her quincunx to Chiron in Aries, it's as though we can give each other confidence to move forward, to make the changes personally that we might have been afraid to make without that encouragement. Saturn roundly squares the Chiron, suggesting that the situations that are going to require these changes are going to be quite forceful, and maybe it is those we relate to that will force the pace. We all need to be prepared to let go of the way we have seen things, to entertain at least somebody else's viewpoint, to let go of the need to be right all the time. So head-to-head arguments show up as being pure ego on both sides, in a way that's not useful. The grand trine from the Cancer Sun and Moon to Jupiter and Neptune is now a bit wide, fairly inaccurate, but still there. It would have been accurate last week. But Jupiter and Neptune are in harmonious relationship with each other for these months that we're going through. Again, showing the support from the angelic realms, the support of spirit. But also, depending where your attitudes take you, it can also be the emphasis on, even exaggeration of, our deepest emotions, and sometimes even an inability to maintain ourselves separate from other people's emotional states. So what's called for is immense awareness and continually checking the reality of the situation. Mercury in Leo shows our desire and perhaps intention to find the positive in every situation, to make the best of things, to be friendly with anyone regardless of how they treat you. And its quincunx to Neptune could be our way of seeing through any emotional difficulties that crop up between ourselves and others. With a quincunx, I'm always saying, this way is service. So when there is a charge, an emotional charge, in your relationship, if you turn your focus to how the other person is feeling and what it is that makes them feel that way or that triggered their reactions, what it is in yourself that they may be responding to, always from their point of view. If you go in looking at it from their point of view, clarity will dawn. You will find that intuitively you understand much quicker than if you try to get your point across, trying to be understood. Sometimes positivity needs to be curbed in the face of pain and anguish in another. Important to go through the pain, the difficulties, the tears or whatever, and to find the steadiness oneself. The placing of Mercury, quincunx Neptune, is perfect for this. A very good time for developing your relational intuition. The full moon chart for the 27th of July shows Venus still in Virgo, this time trining Pluto. As though at last the changes can be made, there is transformation. She opposes Neptune, so there may be some uncertainty, but moving forward, holding the hand of the light, as it were, can only bring good changes, good transformations to situations that may have been stuck before. Jupiter supporting the Neptune still, showing that the truth is continually welling up from the depths of our nature, the Scorpio aspect of humanity. And the Sun trines Chiron from Leo and the North Node, perhaps moving in this second 2 weeks into the solutions to any problems we may have been having. The Moon joins Mars on its own South Node in Aquarius, bringing our attention firmly to what's going on in the general community, pointing out how we need to give space to each individual, that we can't treat the group as a whole unless we deal with each individual with the same care and attention. And in doing this, we are brought to that centre of the heart, which is where love flows through so naturally from human to human. During this period, Mercury will be retrograde, which only makes movement awkward because we tend to be focused on the inside rather than paying enough attention to what's going on outside. But that inward attention is giving us time to really sort out our relationship with each individual in our own group, our own personal community. Understanding each relationship we have from the position of the heart, the Sun ruling Leo as it does and being in there. This is what we're all working on at the moment. Humanity's brief for this full moon and the following 2 weeks is absolutely that. To discover our own truth and sincerity and hold that space, even as we give space to each other to have theirs. This whole month seems to be supporting change, a time for checking our agendas, throwing them out, start again, or rewrite them. Allow yourself to discover how different you are from how you have been, different from how you thought of yourself, and how each person may have changed since last time you properly looked. We are all going through things that we haven't been before, and experience changes us naturally. It's not who we really are who is being changed, just the suit of personality clothes we wear, being adjusted and expanded and maybe softened, maybe made a little more transparent for the true light, the true self to shine through. May you feel the love that is there for us all and let it through into your life. Thank you. Hey, what's the rush? Relax your stomach and breathe for a moment. The only goals you rush around to reach are those of the world, the media, your agendas, pressure you're putting on yourself. Don't blame them. Breathe out, remembering your body serves you faithfully to the best of its ability. So as you breathe in, give your lungs space in all directions to absorb the love that is everywhere. Let life enter you once again, rather than holding it tightly in your hands. Rest your mind on the breeze that blows through your heart. Be a part of the flow, collecting inspiration on the way. Tomorrow will be full of opportunity if you keep that door open. There is always enough time for now. And the rest will be done in harmony with life's need, with joy and a peaceful heart.